Hey, welcome back to Matt again. My name is Rampage, and this is going to be a video talking about whether or not Australian video game conventions like EB Expo or PAX Australia are still worth it. Now, I say that because I've been going to EB Expo since I think it was the first one was in 2011 at Gold Coast Convention and Exhibition Centre, right? And I loved it. EB Expo is getting bigger. All of these events getting bigger every year. Yeah? Which is fine. Don't get me wrong. But if your event is getting bigger and you have more games at the event, but yet there's a portion of games that are at the event that aren't playable, like last year's The Witcher 3 wasn't playable, Uncharted 4, Mirror's Edge Catalyst, and Fallout 4, none of these games were playable, but they were at the event. They had their own, walled off area and whatever. You could watch the video, or you could watch the person, the representative, I assume, play the game. I don't go to these events to watch some other poor bastard play the game for me, or to watch gameplay I've already seen. That stuff really annoyed me last year, and the fact that EB Expo didn't have any indie developer there at all. There might have been one or two, but I think they were like based on AIE student games, and I don't really care much. Sorry, AIE, but I don't. But with because there's EB Expo, it's kind of dying in terms of the indie scene. More people are going to PAX Australia. Last year at PAX Australia, there was a fuck ton of indie devs there, which is great. But EB Expo, what are you going to do this year, hopefully, to stop that from happening? Because last year, the place where the indie devs were supposed to be, it was basically barren. Nothing there. There was like a few stores or whatever, but no devs there at all. All of these like talks or conferences or whatever you see at these events, like the EA talk, the PlayStation, Xbox, all that sort of stuff, everything that they present in those talks are always gameplay or trailers that all of these fucking people in there have already seen. Either E3 stuff or PAX stuff, Not PAX Australia, but PAX East or PAX Prime stuff, right? Nothing gets announced at PAX Australia or even EB Expo, ever. So is there a point of having these developers come to these events and to do these presentations if they're just going to regurgitate the same information that all of these gamers in this hall already know about? Because last year at the Xbox presentation, it was barren. Nobody clapped. No one just gave a shit. We already knew what was happening. We already saw everything that was there. So why do they even bother at this point? Why do they bother bringing these developers out, having them talk about the game at all? Do we need other talks? Do we need other industry people there to talk about different aspects of the game? Because it's just getting boring. It's getting overused and very, I don't know what. It's not fun. It's not enjoyable anymore. It's probably not enjoyable for these developers to fly out from like fucking Sweden or America to come to Australia, feel tired, be all fucking jet lagged, and then have to do this presentation about a game that you've already talked about in the past, and you can't show anything else because we're Australian. I'm not saying that's the reason, but that's what it feels like, yeah? But just because we're Australian, we don't deserve, exclusive gameplay footage or whatever. It's getting to the point where there is no point to go to these events, to watch these videos or watch these presentations, because it's always, every single time, it's always the same shit. They always say the same stuff that they've already said. They probably change the words up here and there, but it's the same stuff. Just like I'm doing. I'm repeating myself. So hopefully this year, EB Expo We'll have more indie devs, probably not, more playable games, and just all around more shit to do. You know, last year they had this fucking jumping castle. Yeah, I understand you have to get kids in somehow, but a fucking jumping castle? And there was like 2 of them. What is the point of that? Like, yeah, there's like pretty much no kids games playable at the event anyway. But you know, you gotta balance it out somehow, don't you? I suppose.